What's going on YouTube? And today I'm super excited because I'm off sliding on carpet for the very first time. That's right, today we're off to Timsbury, just outside Bath and Bristol, to go and see the Slide Effects boys. Slide Effects is the home turf for Bristol and Bath's RC Drift Club, and I'm off to go and meet them all. I've got my hauler fully packed, so let's see what I'm taking with me. So obviously I'm packing my charger, my main battery, spare battery, LipoSafe battery bag for charging at the track, all my different shock springs, ESC tuning box, gyro sensitivity adjuster, my Yeah Racing chassis stand, couple of microfibers for keeping everything clean, selection of brushes for cleaning up afterwards, my transmitter, and of course some spare batteries. My chassis, and of course my shell. Can't take any of that without my hauler, and in the top I've got a selection of tools. This being my first time on carpet, I've done lots of research on the final drive ratio that I need to be running, the kind of height I need to be working with, and general setup for the ECU. I'm pretty sure I'm good to go, but let's get to the track and find out. I'm pretty sure that's everything I need, so let's head out. I'm back. What a day that was. Fantastic to meet everyone. The vibe was amazing and the track was brilliant as well. However, I was completely unprepared. My ride height was way too low. My springs were way too soft. I was bottoming out everywhere. And if it wasn't for all the people that were there helping me, I wouldn't have been able to make one turn around the track. So really, thank you very much for Neil for sorting me out with the extended ball joints that I needed. And John for helping me tune my ECU and set up the boost so everything worked nicely. Let's go ahead and look at some of the changes. Firstly, I had to raise the chassis off the ground. As you can see at the front here, I'm now running about 14mm at the front and about 10mm at the back. And then I was bottoming out very, very easily. So I changed the springs to the hardest ones in the pack that the Yeah Racing springs came with, the Yeah Racing big bore shocks came with. And now I'm getting good rebound and not bottoming out as easily. I also replaced the rear with the hardest springs. I'm now very, very stiff on the rear. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Let me know in the comments. Help me out. I really want to make sure I get this thing as dialed as possible. The biggest issue I was facing was the clearance between that control arm, the upper control arm, and the arm for the steering there. You can't tell in this photos, but it's clearing by literally about 1mm raised up at this height. Now what I actually did is I took the spacer from under here and tried to put them both up here, but the ball end was not long enough. The thread wasn't long enough for that. Luckily, someone down there, Neil, he managed to help me find these extended ball ends that he had in his stash of old parts, and if it wasn't for those, I wouldn't have been able to get clearance with this arm to this arm. I would have just been binding up and I could have melted the servo, burnt the servo out or something. More importantly, the angle was just naff. I couldn't get decent angle with moving the pickup points. I had to keep the angle like this so I could get the best angle possible on the day at least. And after all that, managed to actually put down some fairly good laps. The other main change was the ECU settings. Without turbo decently set up and boost on your ESC, it makes it very hard to control the grip. It's not so noticeable on my concrete floor at my spray booth because it's very slippery and it's uneven and there's lots of cracks. So just keeping a continuous drift is difficult. Once you're on like a smooth playing field, somewhere where you've got that consistency, you can really notice things like the ESC settings not being quite right. And I soon found out that I was way slower than everyone else on the track. And if it wasn't for this change in settings and the addition of turbo and boost, I wouldn't have been able to keep up. So my settings at the moment are right here. If you guys have got any input on how I can improve these settings or change them, anything that you feel maybe is actually not safe or I should have set up in a different way, please drop a comment down below, let me know. So it was a steep learning curve. I spent most of the session tinkering with the shell and the chassis, getting it to run right, getting it to actually have the clearance to get round and not get like beached on various different elements at the track. But once we finally got there, I managed almost a good solid hour of driving, which was brilliant, and I can't wait until the next one. Hopefully I'm going to get there once a month, and I'll hopefully be recording and making a video each time. Also, you might have noticed that my ban has arrived. pretty stoked on that, and that's also a sign of things to come. So until next time, keep drifting. Peace out. Slide Effects is the Bristol